And we are live. Cheese.
Ah,
Okay.
Machita.
Sure.
Yabona
Khumbula
iChelsea
kumbeswa.
hayi iChelsea neChiefs inkwatise ngiphuza ikhofi namhlanje.
Mina
Mfana.
wampheva noyithi amachima acala ngo-C no-H. Kusho ukuthi nje yenzwa.
Ukuphapha. But anyway,
Ukushanda izinto.
before i-therapy session iqale, gents, how was the weekend?
Easy mfana, easy. It was a good weekend. It was my birthday weekend, so hey, ngenza into zami.
Oh, happy birthday, dog.
Ciao, Machita.
Happy belated, my guy. I hope you did the things to make the things to be undone.
Yeah, no, ngilungisile. This does a sharp.
Yeah. So Askan, start with the most obvious one or senzenjani?
Singayo.
No, asize ngayo, asiqale ngayo.
Okay, the floor is yours, my guy.
Growing pains, Buff. It's growing pains. The football we played, I didn't have much of an issue with.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were not prepared for the football West Ham was playing. And we fell into the traps that they set out for us, especially in the second half. In the first half, they couldn't put a finger on us outside of Amakona and a set piece, but we considered that goal fine. Then we got hold of the game. Enzo missed the penalty that should have given us the lead. And I think it would have been a better platform for Moses to enter the game if we were 2-1 up in the second half. But instead we were 2-1 down. The pressure is now mounting as well. He was trying to do too much at times, and the match fitness is very low. He hasn't played football in months now. So there was that evidence as well. My only concern is still that there's still the stagnance when it comes to Poch. I thought he would have seen Uguti playing Ben as a left winger did not serve us well against Liverpool. And we needed to use some type of pace on the wing. We had pace with Sterling on the right. We had no pace with Chilwell on the left. So as a result of that, Jackson is not getting any box supply to finish anything, and it's going to be horrible for a striker to be judged on games like that where if final third, there's not enough creativity in that space. He's having to wrestle for balls. He's not getting balls in space. That's a challenge. And then also Gallagher, the risk part of it as well. But Enzo is having to go back to advance the ball to midfield, and then go to midfield to advance the ball to the final third, and also be the creative outlet in the final third. It's too much work for him to do. Gallagher is not advancing the ball at all. He had so many bad passes, it was frustrating. Even when we've advanced possession and we are in front of the box, he's still passing the ball backwards. He's making safe passes. He's not stretching that defense to create spaces it was very frustrating to watch, honestly. And it's some of those things that you saw last season in that second half that we were doing. But overall, there's a lot of positives. The style of play is quite clear. Our intensity fell off in the second half. Sterling was not trying to beat men and make those menacing runs as well. So we couldn't break West Ham with their block. And all they did was just balloon balls forward, knowing Uguti, they just need a ball winner to carry the ball, either Bowen or Antonio. And that's how they play. So I think we didn't give the best of ourselves. Our defense was quite weak, especially dealing with Bowen. Very, very weak. It was very disappointing. But overall, I was happy with a lot of the positives. We need to show a little bit more urgency when we're chasing the game as well. I don't like the way we play when we are chasing the game. That last 10 minutes, we were just slow. We were sluggish.
Predictable.
They are very predictable. We looked lethargic, and we were only creating from crosses, which plays into their strengths. They've got Suchek in the block. They've got Obona. They've got all the height you can imagine. They have Zuma. So all the crosses, they were getting to the head. And I think this continuous cycle of playing Chilwell as a winger is also affecting Mudryk, because how am I going to be confident as a winger when you are choosing a fullback over me? You know, I'm not going to gain that confidence. And I need the confidence to make mistakes in games so that I can continue and get better. You know, it's not going to work. He was sitting on the bench last season. He's sitting on the bench to start this season. At no point is he going to feel as though he's got the faith of the coach to go and make mistakes on the pitch and try to get better as a player. He's still a young player at this point. So yeah, there's a lot of growing pains.
He went and he chose jersey number 10, which is quite heavy. Shivar, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, Shivara.
It's the Chelsea takeover. Shivar, your views, Chelsea, where do you see them? Cut their ties?
I think it's building pains. They've got, 11 new players? How many players that started yesterday started the first game a season ago?
Which is like a year ago, 12 months.
Which is like a year ago. Maybe just Chilwell?
And Thiago Silva.
And Thiago Silva. Yeah, look, building pains, but I'm a bit worried because what happens to people like Mudryk and Badiashile, who's now picked up a bad injury, or the lad from Leicester who's on these 8-year contracts? What if they just never recover, and then the club is stuck with these players on these huge 8-year contracts that they can't get rid of? Then what happens? I mean, financial fair play is going to kick in eventually. Eventually, you'll get to a stage where you can't buy without getting someone off the books. Then what happens? Does Bowley have a long-term plan, or is his plan to just get in, spend this $1 billion, get the team get a team full of young talent so that the club is worth more, and then sell very quickly? Because that's how he makes his money, apparently.
Look, that could be part of the plan. I think we did sign a lot of young wingers, and I look at that with, you know, a level of caution. You know, I'm not trying to be attached to a lot of them. You know, we have a lot of young wingers that we signed, especially from South America. So I think there is a business aspect
Santos,
to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Like there's Morales as well that we bought from Portugal. So there's probably that in the long-term play. We are still looking for a winger and a number 10. I think we're looking for a number 10 that can play on the wing. That's basically what we're looking for.
Isn't that
Mudryk is a winger.
But he played at number 10 quite a lot at his previous club. Obviously, he's primarily a winger. Maybe not a number 10, but like a second striker type of player.
Yeah, look, I think there is also that to be identified where he's best suited. I just feel as though the best way to find out is to let him play and make those mistakes and whatever. This whole thing of you know, playing other players out of position because you don't want to see him play in the positions that he could be influential in is not really working for anyone. We don't have creative spark, and then you're playing 5 defenders against a low block. Makes no sense. You know, Malo Gusto is not a great attacking fullback as well. So we don't have the type of outlet. He's great defensively, but we don't have the attacking outlet that we get from Reece James on the right. And then on the left, you don't have a great defensive fullback, and he's not even good in attack as well. So the two wing backs you're playing are not going to give you any creativity. So why play them both at the same time? Play a Malo Gusto, he can be a Wan-Bissaka, and then play someone who's going to be a creative outlet if he's got Sterling on the right and we have nothing coming from the left, there's an imbalance there. And what happens is that Jackson becomes isolated. He's having to win duels just to get the ball because there's no one who is overloading that space to create runs or looking for him when he's running alone in space. Because we are always looking at defenders, and then you've got Conor Gallagher who doesn't have a creative bone in his body. It's a mess for now. But I think if you take in a Lavia and a Caicedo to start our build-ups, and then you free up Enzo to be much more ahead in terms of our build-up play,
kind of like
much forward in terms of our build-up play.
Frank in his prime.
Yes, much more forward in our build-up play. He can be like a Szoboszlai without the pace Szoboszlai has, but he can be that player for us, you know. But for now, there's a lot that Poch needs to figure out with his team, with his balance, with his defense as well. That three-man defense does not look solid at all. Disasi is very error-prone. Colwill was to blame for the second goal. He tries to challenge and then leaves at Disasi one-on-one when they could have just overloaded Antonio and taken the ball from
Chelsea
him.
Really is taking over here.
Cheese, your view.
Yeah, but
on,
you also
on Chelsea.
For me, Onke goes around a lot of people, but he doesn't speak about Thiago Silva because Thiago Silva himself hasn't been very great this season. I think he looks way off the pace of his usual self. Maybe because
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I saw him against Darwin Núñez, and there was this point where if Darwin Núñez took a touch, and straight after that touch, you're like, he's just going to burn this guy for pace. Absolutely, because we know Darwin Núñez has pace and Thiago Silva doesn't. And Thiago Silva just doesn't panic. He lets Darwin Núñez take the touch. As soon as Darwin Núñez takes the touch, Thiago Silva just wins the ball. And I saw him do that against West Ham as well. And I'm like, this guy, I don't care if you're 50 years old. You don't lose that ability.
Darwin Núñez, no. Darwin Núñez, no. So if I think yes, Darwin Núñez has pace, but Darwin Núñez doesn't use his pace like a smart striker. I think he's a person who wants to run because he knows he's faster than someone else.
Yep.
That doesn't make you a smart
Thiago Silva just
striker,
puts a giant
right?
full stop to all of that. And I think Thiago Silva is the one that's kind of holding that defense together. For me, he's still a world-class footballer. And
he is, right? He is, right? But in that defense, it just doesn't look like it just doesn't look like he's Thiago Silva. I think because the defense is new and they're trying so many different things, it's back to a back five. Thiago Silva is a very progressive centre back, right? When Thiago Silva has the ball, he can pass into the centre pockets. He can pass into Gallagher. He can pass into Enzo. But when the ball gets passed to Gallagher, the ball comes back to him, right? I think again there's a bit of an imbalance in that squad, and Onke touched about it. But again, at some point, Chelsea going to say we can't play Thiago Silva as the person who's going to be the central of our team going forward. This, especially if you're starting a rebuild.
So
I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't know if you noticed how vocal Thiago is with his other defenders, where he points them, Muguti, you should be there, you should be there, you should be there. Yeah. I think that you can't buy. No, you can't buy that.
So you don't want to, as a player, you don't want to be coaching. No. You don't want to be coaching and playing on the pitch.
And but the best defenders do that. The best defenders do that.
They're not coaching, Don. Van Dijk is not coaching. He's saying there's a guy. Watch, there's a guy.
Yes, he is. Dude, Van Dijk literally coaches that entire back four while he's playing. You literally see him put his arms up like this, and all of them just fall in line with him. He literally
talks. It's a lie.
But he literally talks the guys through the entire game.
No, but Shiva, if I'm the 5, I always have to be the one who's controlling the line. I'm the one who's telling guys to push up. I'm the guys telling guys to watch the guy on the right shoulder and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's not coaching.
And that's
speaking about something else.
It's pretty much telling Fabinho to when he was around to either go or to drop. It's telling Gomez to go wide or stay where you are. It's telling Trent, okay, you can bomb forward now. It's telling Robbo, just tuck in a bit. It's telling Allison, come off your
So I
line
think
or
it's a bit
get back
different
on your
what
line.
he's saying.
It's
I think
it's a
it's a bit
fine
different.
edge sword. It's a fine edge sword between an elderly who's got talent and experience, and these young players that look decent. I mean, Levi for me, Levi is he looks the real deal. Who's the other guy that
Man, he's
Kisasi?
overrated.
No, because he's
in a
English.
passing
Because he's
team.
English.
He's overrated. I'm sorry. Levi
In a
Colwill.
passing team, no, Cole
Look, if you don't
was
want him,
good
I'll
at
take him.
Burnley because they are passing. They have a passing team. They keep possession. They're trying to pass. So as a centre back, you're cool because if I pass this ball into Caicedo or I pass this ball into McAllister, he's gonna keep it. If Cole gets the ball, he's passing the ball together. It's coming straight back at him. There's more
I think
pressure.
also let's talk about Gallagher, gents. Let's be honest. I think Gallagher, time and time again, he's shown Chelsea is a project that is too big for him. Gallagher is your
Why you guys
Palace.
always mad, dude? Why you
Nah,
wanna skip Gallagher?
I tried by all means to
Yeah, he
support
needs
him
to go.
because he's my player.
Yo, how
I
did
was like,
Mike here
nah.
is the worst. My boy Chukwemeka has been giving 8 out of 10 performances since he started.
Thank
But
you.
you don't want Chukwemeka in the team. You see, you don't want Chukwemeka in the team. And I don't understand why you don't want Chukwemeka.
Chukwemeka ghosts most of the time. He was ghosting.
I'd rather have him over Gallagher. I'd rather have him over Gallagher. And he's injured now.
Gallagher is in trouble. Yeah, Gallagher is in trouble.
No, he didn't.
If he thinks he's gonna fight for his place, let me just finish this point. If he thinks he's gonna fight for his place with a middle that looks this talented, and he's got the Euros coming up soon, and he must just do the right thing. Either Crystal Palace or West Ham, but one of those mid-tier teams that finished above us last season because we had a pub season to speak of. Yeah, I had to throw that in there. He must just do us a favor.
Jeez, calm down. Are you okay? Can you?
Yeah, all right. I almost died there. That's too close.
Shiva, Gallagher is a typical English midfielder. There's no creative, technical ability. He is good for putting in a shift in a team that
I thought he was excellent against us because we wanted to keep the ball and we wanted our players to play, and he was like on top of everyone, and I don't know how much he ran, but it felt like he was everywhere in that game. But against West Ham, a team that's gonna sit back, what's he doing? Like, it doesn't matter if he's running because he's not running toward him.
Liverpool have less people in midfield. Chelsea outnumbered you guys in midfield.
Yes,
that's true.
Right?
Yes.
So it's a different story. There's more. Yep. It seems like there's more of him because there's less of you in midfield.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You had Jota who was and Gakpo were more like striker and second striker than midfielders. Which is why McAllister was always flustered in that position. And it's the same thing with Enzo. If Enzo is going to like that and McAllister is going to play like that this season, both of these teams are going to struggle to get to what they want their forward players to do, because the ball isn't going to get there as much as they need to.
What's the overall feel? Two players, Enzo no Gusto. Overrated the amount of money that we spent on Enzo, and how's Gusto's first home game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many negative on a person on his first game. He's probably more solid, which allowed Sterling to have a better game, because Sterling was affecting the game more because he didn't have to worry too much about the fact that he has to track back, because Gusto wasn't interested in going up as much as Reece would have, which allowed Sterling to do his thing much more and conserve his energy. But on the other side, you have that problem where you don't have that balance. But again, it's Enzo always has a good performance. I think generally one of the star players in the team when Chelsea are playing.
I like Enzo. I wish we had Enzo. Like, I wish Enzo was in my midfield.
Of course, 120 million Boosting
Yeah,
midfield.
they wanted to pay 115, but it was too late. Mike, your favorite player, Sterling. What kind of a game did he have? Overall, like the whole game, not the first half only.
I love
Look, I
it.
mean, you know what? Nah, like, yeah, Sterling was pretty good. I'm not lie. Like the first 2 games, he's been pretty good. So if that's the Sterling that I'm gonna see for the rest of the season, I'm happy. Caicedo disappointed me.
Yo.
He was shocking. He was shocking.
I like that performance. I like that. Personally, I enjoyed that
That's
performance.
nerves. That's nerves.
Nah,
Nerves. Your
yeah.
first game playing for the team of your life, or first team, or first love, or whatever. It's nerves. We all know how good that guy is, bro.
I'm fit to the basics.
I'm really not worried about him.
He was
Yeah.
shocking.
Same here. I'm
And
not.
we didn't
concerned.
lose that game. We didn't lose that game because of Caicedo. That's the other thing. When Caicedo came in, we were able to play a much higher line. I don't think people realize that. Enzo was freer, but the problem was West Ham was already set in their block, and they were killing us with just booting balls up and making them run. So Caicedo was chasing Benrahma and who's the Brazilian? Paqueta, the gambler, and Antonio when he came on, you know. So it's I'm fine. Like, I'm fine with that game. He was going to make mistakes. You put him into a game when we are down 2-1 in a game we should have been winning easily anyway. There's going to be nerves there. If we were leading the game when he came in, there was going to be a different game. There was going to be more control. There was going to be more confident on the ball. But he still needs to get his match fitness as well.
That price tag.
No, the price tag was never going to be realized in one game in 30 minutes. It means nothing, guys. And 30 minutes of a football game is not going to make 115 million. Like, we need to think like people that live in the real world, not Twitter. The price tag is a talking point for Liverpool fans and haters, but the price tag is you are buying the player for what they contribute in the long term. You're not buying the player to be a super sub in a 30-minute cameo on their first game. That's nonsensical thinking. If you want Caicedo, you're not buying Caicedo to be a super sub. You're not buying him to be a super sub.
Nah, I disagree, man. I think for the amount of money we spent, guys, no. Like, Fitz, I think we've only won like 3 games out of the last 20 games, Joe. Like, nah, for the amount of money.
What does Caicedo have to do with that? What does Caicedo have to do with that?
Fitz.
No, you're not answering my question. What does he have to do with that?
What he has to do is a better performance. Even though you're coming in for better performance.
Ivana,
you're shaky.
After so many people have had longer games to play, you expect that much from me.
No, you were
in that 20 games where you won 3. In that 20 games where you won 3. And Caicedo was only affected.
He's supposed to regularly change.
He's the one who's
as a
supposed
midfielder.
to make sure. Shucks, Mike.
Hey, it's a tough crowd to please here, Cheese.
I think it's like we can't judge him on 30 minutes. Like, but I get what you're saying, Mike, because it's not Caicedo that's the problem. It's the amount of money that's being spent is the problem. Like, it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone that came on and conceded that penalty and put in that performance. But the amount of money that you spent on that player, whoever that player was, would have been too much.
So in that case, then Enzo was a waste of money because he's the one who missed the pen.
Yeah.
He was taking the pen. I don't even know why he was taking the pen.
But he took it.
I do not understand why. That's my thing.
Because no one else.
He took it.
No one else is going to take it. Who else is going to take it?
No one else. You can give it to Nicholas Jackson. He's a striker. Get his confidence up.
You go and you say,
a lot of people don't use the strikers.
I'm with you.
I'm with you on that.
Confidence up. Why are we taking a midfielder to take a penalty?
You go there as a striker. You tell him, give me the
Clubs
ball.
have been doing that for a long time, though.
Yes. No, I agree.
As a Chelsea fan, you should know this.
Agree.
As a Chelsea fan, you should know this. We've had our midfielders take our penalties for years
I
now.
agree with both
For
sides of this,
years.
but the difference is
Dude,
you
need
can
to
do
get
that
your
when you
strikers' confidence up.
exactly you can do that when you're Gerrard or Lampard and you are an established player in the team and an established penalty taker with an established centre forward. If you've got a young centre forward who's never scored a goal, who almost gave away a penalty in the last game, and yes, I'm still a little bit sore on that. Let him. Actually, it shouldn't even be let him take the penalty. He should be saying, "I'm the striker. It's my job to score goals.
Yes.
I'm taking the penalty."
Yes,
But if you
I
don't
agree
do
with
it, I'm not
that.
going to put the pressure on you. I'm not going to put the pressure
Yes,
on you
because
if you don't want to ask for the ball, bro.
No, but I think
because the
Enzo played
striker,
well.
especially the striker as the goal scorer, has to be the one to say, "I will take it."
If Big Rom's
If
on
the
the
striker
pitch, take the
doesn't step
penalty.
up,
Enzo has never missed a penalty in his career. That's the other stat.
Now he has.
he missed one at the
Because-
World Cup. This is a lie. He missed one at the World Cup.
Because Nicholas Jackson takes that pen, Mike comes onto the show today and tells us how useless Nicholas Jackson is.
Yes,
But
They
because,
never
Enzo,
win.
and because he likes Enzo and Enzo missed the pen, he never said how that is affected anything today.
No, my thing is that look, I didn't say no. Enzo should not be taking the penalties. You need to get your striker on form. That's the whole point.
Big Rom takes that penalty.
Yeah, because Big Rom demands the ball.
Penalty.
Big Rom goes and
I don't
demands the
disagree
ball.
with you, Mike. I don't disagree with you, Mike.
yes.
Yes, the striker is
Yes,
supposed
before-
to. I agree. But the striker needs to be the one that says, "I am taking it." Because the striker needs to be confident enough to take that penalty. If the striker is not confident enough, and Enzo's been taking penalties since Benfica, and was taking penalties at the World Cup for Argentina, then Enzo is going to be the senior as far as taking penalties until the striker says, "I will do it myself."
But this also just
He
paints the
needs to
picture,
back
right?
himself.
How old is Enzo?
Because-
He's 21, and he's
But-
he's been at the club for 6, maybe
A
8
year.
months.
But
Not a year yet.
Shiva,
How can
Shiva,
how
you
can
know-
he be your senior?
Shiva, you know,
No, senior.
McAllister is your. You know at Liverpool, McAllister is your best penalty taker. You know why Salah takes it?
Because he's a
Because he
striker.
goes and he says, "Give me the ball," and he takes
Because
it.
he's a
Yes.
striker.
Ends there.
It's his
But
responsibility to
McAllister is
score the
your.
goal.
But McAllister is your best
No,
penalty taker.
I get
right
you.
now.
I get you, right? But Salah's been our penalty taker for a long time now, and he's very rarely let us down. And it's with Salah, I've been here for so long. It's my responsibility to ensure that the ball goes into the back of the net. So I will I will stand up and take this penalty, right?
But
He's
even when
a
he
striker.
started, even when he started taking them, he chose himself and he stood up and said, "I will take them." I think he
So
took the ball from
he-
Trent at some point, saying he's going to
What
take the
happened
penalty.
was the first couple James Milner actually took, and then I think Bobby.
Yes, it
took
was
one and
Milner.
won.
You're right.
Yeah, Bobby took
Yes.
one in the Champions League and missed. And after Bobby missed that one in the Champions League, then Salah started taking it because Milner wasn't on the pitch, and Bobby, who was our second penalty taker, had missed one.
Even
And that's
Jesus,
when
at City, even though he missed them like crazy, even Jesus was confident enough to say,
Yeah,
"I'll take
Yeah,
them."
to go and say,
Whenever Sterling would dive in the box, because he's very good at this. He wins penalties like no one's business. Whenever Sterling does his things in the box and then he dives, Jesus was confident enough to say, "I will take them," and he'd miss. He'd sky them like crazy, but he was confident enough to say, "I will take them." And City didn't have a designated penalty taker. I'm not even sure they have them. They have him now since Gundogan left.
Haaland.
But
it
No,
was
Salah.
Aguero.
who? It's Haaland.
No,
It
it's
was
Haaland.
Aguero.
Haaland's our penalty taker.
Oh, it's Haaland now. No, after Aguero started to eat bench, they didn't have a designated. It was Sterling, then it was Mahrez, then it was Gundogan. It's
They
always
rotate,
changed.
yeah.
KDB tried at some point, he also missed. And then I think he lost his confidence and he couldn't do it
Then
again.
they gave it to
But
Rodri.
the point
Then
is-
Rodri took.
Yeah, they gave it to Rodri at some point. The point is, you give the penalty to the one who wants it. It's about who wants it. I would have rather had Jackson fight Enzo for the ball than have to say, "No, Jackson should take it." I agree, the striker should, because the striker is the primary goal scorer. And the penalty might get them in the groove of scoring more goals. We've seen this with Harry Kane. They can break the shackles in a game and then start scoring. But the striker needs to want it. and we do not know if Jackson wanted the penalty. And that is the part that we should all be careful of.
No, but
Yep.
before they're going into the game, right? They've already decided, okay, shit, if we do get a penalty, who's going to be the penalty taker? And the manager would have already decided that.
No, I don't.
So, yeah, if Jackson all of a sudden decided to take the ball and was like, nah, I'm taking it, obviously now you're going against the manager.
I don't think teams do that anymore, though. I
don't
on
think
the
teams
pitch
do
they
that.
I think
decide.
the captains decide
Yeah, the captain
in
probably
training.
has a say,
Mm.
but like
Yeah.
on the pitch, a lot of the time, if the person who was fouled is a penalty taker, he doesn't take the penalty unless it's someone like a Salah or Gerrard or Lampard back in the day, because they were like, they would take on the responsibility, like someone who's been in the team for a long time. In a situation like at Chelsea, it's very, very often that the team will just be like, okay, who's the guy feeling it? That guy takes it. And this time it was Enzo that stepped up.
Yeah, I think we can close off the Chelsea conversation with its giving Zimbabwe. Let's segue into
Man United.
I was actually in KZN this weekend, and I watched the United Spurs game with my brother, who is a United supporter, and like it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone get so angry at Marcus Rashford before, because it's like every time Rashford gets the ball, he's just like, Rashford's got the ball, our attack is over, and then 2 seconds later the attack was over. There's like no
He's a black hole
in that team.
He is a black hole in that team. Everything disappears when it goes to him. I watched that game. I was angry on behalf of United fans. I watch football and I expect to see things. I mean, this team has been coached by the same guy for over a year. Okay, in the first half, they got chances. Spurs was extremely sloppy in the first half. They got chances. Rashford should have scored from a header. Bruno should have scored from a header. Those were easy chances. Then Spurs made an adjustment in the second half. I have never seen a team look that bad. Like, they looked so bad. There were times when
Bissouma looked like he was playing against training cones. He was literally running that entire game.
There were times when Bissouma would stop attacks. Like, it was so frustrating to watch. He would literally, like, Spurs would be sprinting up front, and he just wait for United to catch up and relax, and they still pierced through them like nothing, like it was butter. Son, one of the reasons Richarlison was so angry was because they were dilly-dallying in the box. Son, Kulusevski, they were not passing in the ball so many times. I was like, why are these guys not passing Richarlison? If that was Kane, he's definitely getting the ball. But Richarlison was screaming for the ball at sometimes, and these guys want to take extra touches. They want to do extra things. But it also goes to show how weak Man United has become as an institution.
I think weak as Man United are, the Spurs keeper, freaking hell, he had a game.
He did have a game.
He had a
but I think both teams are like in this very transitional phase where you don't really know, and the players don't really know what's expected of them. With Spurs, I can understand it because it's this dude's second game.
Yes.
What's United's expected?
Yes. Like, which team was supposed to look transitional?
We were talking about it that this season should be Ten Hag's team where you can start to identify this is his style of play. Because he's spent a whole season with the team, so you should understand that the players have bought into the way of his thinking, and also the talent that he's recruited should add value to the style of play that he wants to. But I didn't see that. I didn't see a style of play that I can identify as compared to Spurs, who the manager has had a month with the squad and they got rid of their best player, but yet still there's identity there as compared to Man United.
There's something.
Because with Man United, Anthony did that thing of his of cutting in and taking a shot. He's very good at that, and he was unlucky. He hit the post, but I don't remember him doing anything besides that. Mason Mount, I don't remember him doing anything.
I don't know. I don't know why Mason Mount is there. Like at that point, do you not just say, "Look, Donny, come on, give me something here"? Like just go with
Guys,
Donny
Mason
at that
Mount
point.
had 14 passes.
But
Mason Mount
But,
completed 14 passes in 80 minutes. 14,
but
1-4.
I,
14
I think
passes.
I think Ten Hag isn't what everyone thinks he is.
He's not good.
I think
Yeah.
He is
I
not
think he
good.
is I think he's
It's giving
extremely
Zimbabwe.
arrogant. I think he's extremely arrogant, and I think that's what's
Yeah.
gonna cost him.
Nah,
He's
too
emboldened
arrogant
by
is
Man
nothing, man.
United. He's emboldened by
and-
Man United. He was arrogant
Yeah.
even at Ajax, saying that he likes the challenge of the big clubs and whatever in the Champions League, and then he got humbled by Spurs, which is so funny and ironic now. But he has never been someone of substance tactically. He's always played this style, this very conservative style. Him and Moyes and Ole and Mourinho are cut from the same cloth. They do not take the game. They wait for you, and then they want to beat you with pace.
Because
United was
Mm.
built for that.
I think
But
I
the
think
problem is
Jose.
this.
you know,
You can't put Jose
for
in with
me-
those other coaches. Like put Jose aside.
yeah, for me,
No,
for
Jose
me,
is a
for me,
winning.
right?
Is a winning type.
Mm.
No, but for me, gents, in every coach needs to have like a footprint or I don't know what, a blueprint. Like when we see you play, these are how your teams play. Whoever who's in the team, whether we have mounts, whatever, but the way we play is very specific, right?
So what you're saying is
there was an
if there's 11 players and they're wearing white shirts and you can't see who these players are and there's no crests or anything, you can tell by the way that the team is playing that this is a Pep team or this is a Klopp
Yeah.
team or
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
Jose
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
But
identities.
how do
it's
you
always
tell
been
if it's a Ten Hag
You
team?
don't. You can't. Like we don't know what is United's football blueprint when they're playing against teams that they need to break down. We know what they want to do when they play against teams who want to keep the ball. We know how they play against City. They don't want to. They want to sit back, drop deep. There's more space for Rashford to run behind, so that's what we want to do. But what do they do in teams where? Because you don't play against Man City and Liverpool every week. You don't play against
Look at-
Chelsea and Newcastle every week.
Imagine
so
what our
is your
goal difference
what
would
is your
be if we
blueprint?
played United every week. Like
Look
plus
at look
100.
at their look at their average possession these last two games. It was about 40 something percent. So the only thing he is trying to achieve is to set his team up to be a quick transition team. That's it. That's what he was doing last year. That's what he's doing this year. He doesn't set up his team to control games so that they can impose their style of play and take the game by the scruff of the neck, basically. He's home, he's away.
Just
That's exactly how he plays. And that's why he's got a horrible away record. He didn't win a single away game against the top nine teams last season because of that. If you're going to my ground and you're not going to play like a big team, I'm going to play you like the small team you're pretending to be. And that's how Man United went into away games playing last season. They have continued even this season. It's never going to
I think-
change. It's him. It's Ten Hag.
Yeah, we've spoken about leadership when we were talking about Chelsea and Thiago and whatnot.
Ooh, Bruno.
Is Bruno ready to be the
Cry baby.
Okay, he is a crybaby, but is he ready to take the button and be a leader? Like
I think
literally
He was
Man
never ready.
United.
Not
I like him.
always, not. You don't have to be captain if you're good. If you're the best player in the team, you don't have to be captain.
So I
This-
like
this
Bruno.
myth of
because-
making players captain because they're the best player in the team is
Yeah.
it's a myth, bro.
But I like Bruno because I felt like he always he under Oli it always felt like he was the one that would take the responsibility. He would take the ball and he'd try to do the difficult thing with the ball. He would press, he would put in the effort, and I just felt like he was a guy trying to take the responsibility, and I juxtapose that with Pogba, who looked like he just wanted to have a good time and take no responsibility. But now I'm not seeing Bruno show for the ball and accept the responsibility and try to be the big guy. I see Bruno being a spoiled brat and a crybaby.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
That's true.
I think as well.
And also, yes,
I
I
think
agree
as
with
well.
that. Who else?
Remember last season, right? When they were doing well, I think they had a good run of games. They were playing a striker. There was a guy who
Yeah.
was the focal point of the attack, and they tried to get the
Wout
ball to him so he can
Workhorse.
hit the guys. Yeah, that was his role, right? And now when the balls come in to that black hole called Rashford as well, there's no hold up play. It takes forever for other guys to come and join in.
I wanted
When
to
when
ask.
Bruno did, yeah,
I wanted to ask. Why did United not sign Sabitzer again?
Here's another one that they
Mason
could have
Mount.
signed. Here's another one they could have signed.
Madison, yeah,
Awesome.
Why
Madison's
didn't they
fine.
sign Sabitzer? Sabitzer basically would have been the perfect cover for their issues in midfield. And
What
he would
about
have
Do you
allowed
know?
Casemiro to retain. Yeah?
Do you know who else
Madison,
would
they
be
have,
the
they
perfect cover for their midfield? Like Donny van der Beek from Ajax when he was at Ajax would have been the
Hmm.
perfect cover for that midfield.
But I think
He's gone.
something wrong with it.
yeah, that's gone.
But for
It's
me,
not going to
He's
come
do
back.
gone.
you see how medicine like that medicine changed that the way Spurs are
Spurs play.
creating and building
Yes,
Oh
their
yes,
chances.
yes.
yes.
Oh yes.
He's
He's so
Oh
effective
unpredictable.
in
yes.
what he does, bro. He's so
Mm.
good left and right, and you spend money on guys who don't
Mount.
do much. I mean, the numbers of Mount compared to Madison last year, and Madison was injured most of the time. It's ridiculous you have to compare the two. But
I've
the
had
decisions
these
made
I've had
at
these
the Red Club is terrible.
I've had these arguments with Chelsea fans for years now, saying that Mount is nowhere near James Madison as a midfielder. In fact, the fact that the likes of Madison and Grealish are having to sit on the bench while Mount gets to play for
Starts.
England is one of the reasons England is never going to go anywhere.
Look, I think we're being a little bit hard on
Madison
Mount.
is
Like,
a star. No,
Yeah.
no.
yes.
Trust
No, look,
us.
there's a
We know
player.
Mason.
There's a player in Mason Mount. Every coach seems to like him for some reason. So he must be doing something
Because
right.
he works hard.
He trains.
Because he works
trains
hard.
hard. Mm.
Exactly. But
He
Gallagher,
trains hard.
he's
Can
not
you
the
say-
player
Gallagher
that you build your team around because he doesn't have the technical ability.
Listen, there's a tackle Pedro Porro made in the second half, and I'm not sure who he was bullying. I stood up and clapped. He was bullying Garnacho. He bullied Garnacho in that game. He was
That's
bullying
not fair.
Garnacho like
I can bully Garnacho. Like, I'd feel bad if I bully Garnacho. Like, if I had to bully Garnacho, I'd have to go, like, report myself to the teacher or something like that. That kid he's out of his depth. He's, like, out of his depth starting in the Premier League. He was good when he came off the bench because he's direct and he has pace. But he cannot be a starter just yet. He needs more time.
yeah, it's the same thing. with Anthony.
United is a team that is a former big club. They are just not yet at that realization as yet. They have not arrived. Plus, last season they got that fluky cup and they got third place in a season where Liverpool and Chelsea really struggled. United they are past it. Even the next coach is going to struggle. You can't account for the deficit of quality in that team. If
You
you're
speak of
saying to me,
quality, okay.
Garnacho, yeah,
You speak of quality. So I'm looking at the Man United bench, and I'm thinking to myself, who these niggas? Like, there's nothing there. There's no depth. Sure, they've got Martial, who gets injured before he even comes
who
on.
is Martial? Who is Martial?
Ericsson, yeah, those passes every now and then, but yeah, there's Dalo comes on, you never know what you're gonna get. Sancho he's a lucky packet. You don't know also what you're gonna get. You don't know whether you're gonna pull a brilliant Sancho or it's going to be the Sancho that we know, which is just powdery. And then there's nothing there, man. That bench is pop, gents, if we're being honest.
There's no one in that team that like I can say this player is a player I would look out for, aside from Bruno Fernandes. There's no one else who I'll say, look, we just need to watch this guy, look after him a little bit. It's only Bruno Fernandes. He's the only one in the team that I feel can do something. Rashford he's a purple patch player. And when he's on it, yes, he can hurt you. but it's like very easy to stop him because you just sit back and he doesn't have any space to run into and he doesn't know what to do anymore. Yeah, that's how I feel United are.
So how good was Brighton?
Mitoma! I love that
What
guy.
a team, bro.
No.
apart from City games, that's one game I don't
Yeah.
miss.
Same here. Same here.
Brighton.
Since-
is
How much?
so
since-
How much?
since
How much?
Deserbi.
How much is his market value right now?
Mitoma,
150.
If,
maybe,
150.
maybe.
Yeah, hey, Brighton's not playing games now, bro. If you come for the player, you're paying big bucks.
I
And,
know the
and,
boy's
and
talent,
again,
Ndota.
and again, we come back to the most critical team. Roberto Jazzebi, he's flippant. Whoever plays in that team, we know what we're gonna go do as soon as we walk onto the pitch.
Look at Dawood, my man.
Plays. Bro,
Look at Dawood. Look at Gilmore.
They played Billy. Yeah, they played Billy, bro. Just this weekend, and he
I
was
was like,
incredible.
how did you play? I was like,
Wow,
Lemina is going to
that's-
eat him up because of size. But Wolves also
Yeah,
missed chances. That game was a bit frustrating for me. I felt like it was going to be a goal fest because it was quite open. The way Brighton plays, they will be susceptible to being hit on the counter. And Wolves is a team that breaks very well. They have runners for days. I love that short nigga. Is it Gomez? Who's that short nigga of theirs? I think it's Gomez. He's a
João
very
Gomez.
feisty player. I love that guy. He's a very feisty player. I just think they need to sort out their finishing. They are horrible in front of goal. They were so bad in front of goal. That game was supposed to
Yeah,
be one of those 4-3 type
Yeah,
games.
that Fabio Silva kid is terrible. I think that's a
I
terrible.
Fabio Silva, yo, horrible investment. But overall, that game was amazing. I think
Looks like they got some Wi-Fi in Italy now.
And the weirdest thing ever is that we were speaking about a player that is direct, and like Mitoma is one player that is direct. Mitoma, you know what you're gonna get. He's literally he's coming straight to you, whether you're a defender, whether you are quick or you are slow or you big, you small. He'll come straight. And I think that's where Garnacho thinks he is at that level, and he's far from it.
Solly March was once a left back, bro. And
My man,
now you
my
will
man.
never say, you will never say that guy. That the finishing. You see the finishing of the first chance. Also, that Enciso kid is something else as well. But I'm just saying that team for me, bro.
But I agree
Dunk,
with you though, because
guys, Dunk and Adam Webster. Those guys look like
amazing.
like some crazy Real Madrid centre backs, bro. So calm under pressure.
Amazing.
You don't press them. You don't press Dunk, you don't press Webster, because if you press and they get that ball to Enciso and then allows you in trouble. And those guys are so good and effective on the ball,
It's-
bro. I
every
think one of
every
the teams
single
to
one of
watch.
those players know exactly what they need to do, and it looks like they've rehearsed it. If you're in this situation, you do this. If you're in that situation, you do that, and it just makes it
Danny
easier
Welbeck.
for
Danny
everyone.
Welbeck is resurrecting his career.
Even Danny Welbeck looks good, but I think the key there
see-
is those players are not afraid to make mistakes because there's no pressure on them to
Yes.
finish fourth. Like if they finish, where did they finish last season? Was it sixth or seventh?
They
or
finished
somewhere
sixth, yeah.
there?
Behind
Finished
Liverpool.
This season,
Yeah.
if they finish eighth, it's still a good season for them. There's no pressure, so they're not worried about if they make a mistake, and that's why the centre backs look so calm on the ball. Because if I lose the ball, okay, fine, we concede a goal, but we're
Nah,
still
I don't
Missing
think
is
it's
never
that, bro.
impacted.
I don't think that's for me. I think that's just a heavy thing to think that people play like this because they don't have pressure. Those guys play like
I
that because that's how they train. The coach demands it of them. If the coach demands that you center back aren't clearing the ball, you find a way to make a pass. Because if you don't,
but what
there's a
I'm
guy
saying
on the
is,
bench. There's a guy on the
Yes.
bench who's gonna do it, Shiva. That's one
but
thing
what
I'll
I'm
tell
saying
you.
is, it's not
at-
okay. Maybe it's
at
not so much
Brighton-
not playing under pressure. It's they're not afraid of making a mistake because they know that this is what the coach wants me to do. The
Yeah,
coach is happier if I make a mistake as long as I'm trying to
Yep.
do the right thing, rather
Yep.
than if I do the wrong thing but I've kept the ball, or I do the wrong thing but there's no danger. But now I've done the wrong
It's
thing, so the
identity.
team's out of
It's
shape and
identity.
all of that.
If
Again,
if I'm
You'll
hoofing
know
the,
it is
if I'm hoofing the, if I'm hoofing the ball in 40%, 40% or okay, 40% of the times I get the ball as centre back and I'm hoofing it forward, and we've never trained what to do if I hoof the ball up to the centre forward. We don't know
Yeah,
how to position ourselves.
you don't
and
win
we're trying
second balls and you get hit on the
Yeah.
counter.
But we know that if that managed to make that ball to someone in the midfield and can transform and get it into Matoma, we are in business. Because
Yeah.
we have
And
a
you also
Stupiñán
know that
coming up.
if I try to play to someone in midfield and the pass doesn't go through, my midfielders know what to do.
Yeah, we know what to do, and that's the coach's blueprint. Now, in other teams, there isn't that. Varane gets the ball, he's poofing it
Yes.
upfield to Rashford to run. The ball comes to
Onana
Gallagher in
as
midfield.
well.
The ball comes to Gallagher in midfield. He's passing directly back to your centre back, putting him under pressure. Where he knows he's supposed to turn and look for the winger. It's all those situations. I mean, we saw Trent as well. Trent cost their first goal for Liverpool. They passed the ball into midfield. He's not a 6 who's aware of his positions because he thinks when I'm getting to the ball,
Yes.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that quarterback pass every single time,
And that's
right?
why I don't want Trent in midfield.
Yeah, it's the blueprint, right? What we want to do as a team, we need to enforce it. Every single time we walk onto the pitch, whatever the coach wants, we do it. Because if you don't, Enciso's coming next game. If you don't, João Pedro's playing next game. Or yeah.
You've said a lot. I'm still waiting for Phil Foden's apology.
Oh no! I mean, like I always said, in fun, we need Phil Foden to do those sort of performance consistently. And the difference between Phil Foden in this game, the
only way Phil Foden gives you consistency is if Phil Foden plays more consistently in the same position. I said this on Wednesday. The problem with Phil Foden is that next game Pep is going to play him on the left and not play him as an 8. It's always happened to him. He changes position.
Not anymore, Not anymore. Pinado and Kevin are injured, and those guys are out for a few weeks. So that position is Foden's to lose for the rest of the season, pretty much, or for the rest of the year, if you ask me, right? And for me,
he looked amazing.
Foden's not Kevin, right? And if you're playing in the 10, Foden needs to try to stop trying to go on the outside because he doesn't have the delivery that Kevin has from a deep position. Foden's a pocket player. If he's in the 10 positions, those pockets, those quick turns to affect the game, that's where he's good at. He mustn't try to model his game as a 10 that's like Kevin. And Pep always says, we never want to find another player like Kevin. Pep says you'll never want to find another Kevin. And if we think we're going to try to go into the market, yeah, it's like you're going to the market and you're going to be like, oh, where's Kevin? We're going to find a player that has Kevin's. You're not going to find a sort of player, but you'll find players who will be effective differently in the same sort of system that you want to play football. And Foden needs to realize that.
I agree.
The way he got into that pocket to lay the ball into Alvarez, that's where he needs to be, not on the outside. He should try to stop being on the outside because he doesn't have that delivery that Kevin has. And for me, that's where he's going to affect the game. Haaland could have had a goal or two from those pockets that Foden was passing. But again, Haaland was off his game on the weekend. And again, I just think that those Newcastle, Botman roughs him up. Botman's a big boy. He roughs him up the whole game.
He was not having a great day at all. There was a time he tried to trap at the center line, and then Botman basically just caught his thigh. So nice, in a typical defender type of way. And I saw Haaland turn and look at him. I was like, yeah, he's getting to him clearly. That physical game that Newcastle was doing.
Yeah. Botman's a beast.
It's not for him. I like Botman as well. I think he's very underrated in the league. He's one of the best defenders in the league. He's very underrated. Yeah. Anderson as well from Crystal Palace.
I don't know how he would do at City or Liverpool, or even Brighton, where your centre backs need to be good ball players. But in a team where you are defend first, I think he's excellent.
He's so good.
I think
he is so good.
I think remember the blueprint. At Newcastle, we don't want that. Once you get the ball, we try to get our balls to Trippier, because he knows how to deliver the ball that we want to the forward players. So the centre backs don't need to play too much, and it's better now because we have now Tonali who wants to
Yeah,
get
you
it
got a
off
double
them
pivot
as
in
fast
front of
as
you
possible.
instead of a single pivot, so
So
it
it's
makes it
much
easier
more
on the
better.
centre backs.
So there's a friend of mine, Tembo, likes to say defenders defend. Everything else is a myth. This thing of having ball playing centre backs and stuff, it's a myth. You need a ball playing centre back if your holding man isn't confident, right?
Ball
And-
playing goalkeepers, jeez.
Yeah,
I
look,
mean-
I think that it's over now, right? I think I said this on the last show. We like about 10 years ago, we'd get very upset. We'd say, why is our centre backs going and playing with the midfielders? But now all the big teams, their centre backs are going and playing with the midfielders. And now it looks like the goalkeepers want to go and play with the midfielders as well. Football is just evolving. Like it's just and like now fullbacks are literally midfielders. Like they are literally central midfielders now. It's football's
yeah,
evolving.
but Pep always does this, right? And then teams want to come and play up against him. Then he switches it up and he smacks you 7-0 because you coming with something that you not really understand why they're doing it, right? And for City, we were specifically doing that because teams would sit off. They'd sit off and allow our three guys to be with their centre backs and just rough them up because they already
And
have
then
a
you'd
low
have
block of two guys.
Grealish and Mahrez as wide
Already
as
too
possible.
wide. Yeah.
Wide. So, like for example, we can't do that because if we have Salah and Diaz wide
Yep.
holding the
They're not
wood,
going to affect the
that
game.
doesn't work for us. We need those guys in the box. For us, it needs to be the other way around. Our wingers need to be central, and our fullbacks need to be wide.
Yep. And you know what the difference is that if Salah and Diaz are extremely wide, it means that you create space for your tens. And that's where Kevin, Bernardo, Foden hurt teams because now they have a lot of space because you're trying to press our wide guys and you're also trying to force our centre back or our forward and pin them forward. So now these two guys with the 10s are affecting the game more. But you're not going to have that if that guy is a striker. Cody Gakpo is a striker. Jota is a striker. They're not going to affect that position too much because they're not thinking of making the pass. They're thinking of scoring the goal.
Not everyone
again-
can be Bobby Firmino.
Of course. Some players
I think
are it's not a place though.
Yeah,
I think that is so true because you need a player that the system is anchored by. Firmino was great at anchoring that system because he wasn't goal hungry first of all, and he was extremely creative. Now Liverpool has, even though it works, because when I watched you guys on the weekend, your attack is crazy ferocious. It is still Klopp's attack basically, but obviously you still have issues in midfield and in defense.
Yeah, look, the puzzle
Because you were
pieces are not
you were
all
quite
there yet.
open. Yeah, you were quite open
Our
in that
tactics-
game.
Look,
If
I thought that
Solanke
wasn't
had-
a red card, but I also thought
Yeah,
Endo
that was
played
horrible.
quite well
That was horrible.
when he came down. Look, I don't think Endo will be our first choice. I hope he's not our first choice 6, but I'm not unhappy with his signing. I thought he did well. I thought he did well when he came on. I'd rather take Endo's.
Where are you
debut
gonna
than
find a
Caicedo's
6?
debut.
Where are you gonna find the 6?
This time in the
Oh.
window.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we
Hi,
get.
Jack Amrabat.
Once.
I'd rather just keep Endo if we're gonna hijack Amrabat. Maybe we get one of those 8s that can play at 6. You know that type of player. Because everybody knows that we want 6 now.
Goodman Musele.
Who?
Goodman Musele.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my god. Oh
Loco.
my god.
Scored against
He is
Pirates,
local.
Baba. He's a 6.
He is
He's a
local.
6 and an 8. Baba.
I'll take him. What's he on? How much is he on a week?
Yeah.
You don't split the bank. Don't worry. We're going to charge 75 mil. It's United, so 75 mil.
I feel like while I was at KZN, I should probably just have went to Maritzburg United and try to find someone there.
Of course.
But guys,
scouting.
Arsenal versus Palace right now. Yep, they've kicked off. We are 18 minutes in, 17 minutes in. Arsenal is looking. Oh, okay, penalty
Me.
shout.
What's the lineup like?
Anyway,
Vele are ours
the
up.
same old. Ramsdale, Party, White, Saliba, Timiyosi, Odegaard, Rice, Kai, Saka,
No Gabriel.
Nketiah, and Martinelli.
No Gabriel.
Yeah, he's been
Makes
doing it
sense.
for a while.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, gents, any other ones?
The defense
before we
was
close it
changing.
off?
I'm shocked, Mvana.
Looking
Right,
forward to
recording
Luton
it.
Town.
The
I hope-
therapy session is over.
No, Mike's
Gents,
watching the
it's been
soccer
good.
here.
Yeah.
Mike's busy watching the soccer. No wonder he's not speaking. Uminyile.
No,
Uminyile Arsenal.
you know, sometimes you gotta keep quiet, you know, to like.
I'm hoping Arsenal
Gents.
lose, man.
Yeah, you're not alone on that one. Gents,
I'm
don't
just gonna
forget
go watch
like,
Eze, boys. I'm out.
comment, share, subscribe. Helps up with the algorithm and all those things. It's been a good therapy session. We shall meet again. Cheers.
Well,
Sure, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Drop shift.